and stop trying to push them in any particular way. Just holding that space for them to be able to move in that way, they will naturally move that way. Okay, we want to talk about some of the techniques of motivational interviewing, but we want to put it into a structure of the MI structure, and that would be engagement, that would be focus, that would be evoking, and also planning. So engagement, building that relationship, focus, determining the direction of the motivational interviewing session, and then evoking, playing with that discord,
Yeah.
and then planning, determining what
Yeah.
steps are
Negotiating that
necessary.
change
Yeah,
plan.
yeah.
And it's almost like there's a bit of a pathway, I would say, if you consider that this is sort of a natural meandering pathway that occurs within an MI session. So
Yeah.
it's, there is a structure, but I like to have with rounded edges, let's just say, so that it's
Yeah.
not something that I'm thinking to myself as I'm working with someone, okay, now we're in the planning stage. It's not
Well,
something like that.
you would never do that.
Yeah, no, it's just, this is more, even though it's MI structure, I like to invite over all of that the MI spirit,
Yeah.
right? Which is essentially where we are looking at partnership, having a true partnership with someone, meeting them exactly as they are with acceptance,
Yeah.
right? And having compassion for where they are, the things that they struggle with, and
Empowering
them to grow from there. So,
And this is not those tall order that bring the spirit of motivational interviewing into every session, but it's, we want to invoke that and to bring that into ourselves as motivational interviewers to bring the true essence of motivational interviewing into each session, right?
yeah. Yeah. Well, those things that I just talked about with the MI spirit, that's something that is interweaved and interplayed within all of the MI structure,
Yep.
steps, so that it's all, within that. So, I think it's just a beautiful way of being with another human being that is, trying to make a change. I think, life always offers the opportunity and the tension of change. And how do we grow through that, right? So,
I love that we're starting with engagement because, well, for a couple of reasons. One, that's how we're starting each motivational interviewing session anyway, is building that relationship. And also, that's one of your favorite parts of this, is that you've always said that motivational interviewing is all about relationship. And yeah, and you put that into practice, right?
yes, well, I think what I've said is recovery coaching is all about relationship, and motivational interviewing is one of those major components of recovery coaching. As a matter of fact, I often say that it's the knee to the leg,
Or
which is
the
just,
elbow of the arm.
or the elbow. It could be the elbow of the arm. Nothing happens. You don't go anywhere. We go somewhere with our legs. So I guess that's why I'm using the leg analogy.
But you would just walk weird.
Yeah, you would just walk weird. But it just works a lot better if you have that knee that bends and can lift and inspire. So motivational interviewing is that knee to the leg.
Yeah.
When it comes to recovery coaching. So it's something that becomes very, very important.
Yeah.
Is that relationship has to be there.
So what does that sound like? I mean, a lot of times, people are okay, establishing a relationship. How is that, what kind of container is that? And, for the listener, it would be, you'd be hearing a lot of sort of reflective statements, a lot of understanding, some affirmations, good questions, sort of really developing in a non-judgmental way, the entry point to that relationship.
Yes. Yeah. And that's such a big part of the work that I really delight in, really, is hearing people out, hearing exactly where people are right now. What is actually happening for them? What's on their mind? What are the things that they really struggle with, right? And allow them to tell their story and
Yep.
to think about what's actually really going on for them, what's important to them, what matters to them, what are their values. And as if people are given the opportunity to really talk freely within a safe container where they're met without judgment, with compassion, with understanding, then it is really truly amazing to listen to the heartbeat and the soul of another person who is, really letting you in on their innermost thoughts and desires, and like
And
it's
powerful for
privileged.
them too. Like there's nothing so powerful as being listened to with, like serious concentration and being held in high regard in that respect,
Yeah.
and reflecting back with real accuracy about what's being said.
Yes.
And like particularly with the cohort we're dealing with, people who are struggling with addiction, they don't often hear that very much.
Yeah.
And to be able to sit beside them, like really crawl inside their skin and feel how their world must be.
Yes. Yeah. And practicing those reflections. So we talk about, the simple reflections, we talk about the complex reflections, sort of what are they saying, and being able to reiterate that, but also what are
Hmm.
they not saying? What are the feelings, the deep feelings and the purposes behind what they're not
Yeah.
saying? Those are the complex reflections. And someone may be talking about the reasons that they feel like they don't need to change,
Yeah.
what we call sustain talk. We're just gonna, I don't think I have a problem. I'm happy with the way things are,
Yeah.
etc. And then on the other side of that is the change talk, where they start going, well, gee, maybe things aren't, I never thought about that before, but maybe things aren't going as well as they could be. And
Maybe I could just take one small step
yeah,
in a direction of change.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
And the idea is that if somebody is in a place of sustained talk, but if they're just allowed to, just be there and they're met without, any resistance, just compassion,
Hmm.
understanding, and then just waiting for that opportunity where maybe they start to entertain the idea almost naturally. It's in that container, it becomes almost a natural place for them to start to think more about wellness,
Yeah.
to think about almost spontaneously that what, I think maybe I could do more, or I could make this change.
Yeah, absolutely. And Carl Rogers said that is, if we hold that space for them, like everyone wants to be healthy and well,
Yeah.
and they'll move in that direction if we create the space for them
Mhm.
and stop trying to push them in any particular way. Just holding that space for them to be able to move in that way, they will naturally move that way.
Yes, kind
So
of
we don't
coming
have to do
along.
any fixing.
Yeah, no, that's not our role, right?
Yeah.
Just coming alongside, walking with them. I've heard it described to me before, just getting on their rock. What do
Hmm.
they see? Like if I
Yeah.
sit here beside you,
Yeah.
what do you see? Tell me how it is for you right now. And really trying to engage with that compassion, with understanding, with non-judgment, with curiosity,
Hmm.
right? Like, wow, tell me more about that. Like really, truly being curious.
We make it sound like it's easy, but it's not. It's not. I mean, the fix-it guy in me is always chattering, going, "You got a better way to do this." Like, and it's like, you
Yeah.
know, take a back seat here. We need to, but it's a constant work of fighting against some of those primal kind of urges to either fix them or, tell them the right way forward or whatever. It's that kid in the back going, I know, I know, I know.
Yeah.
Like, I know the answer to that. No, you don't. Stop, listen,
Yeah.
hold space.
Yes, yes, because that idea of change, there is instigating change,
Hmm.
inspiring change, but there's also sustained change. So I might be able to tell somebody what to do, and they might even say, "Okay," and they might even instigate that change. But I think over the long term, they do not, stick to it. because it was never their idea
Yeah.
to begin with. Now, if they are given the freedom, it could be exactly the same change, but if they came up with the idea, they decided that that's what I want to do, and they made the action plan to do it, it will be further, it'll be
It
sustained
lasts a
change,
lot
lasts
longer.
longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's science that's shown that. Like they had took three groups, and one was, held in a sort of motivational interviewing way where they weren't told what to do. We just sort of held space for their path. And other people were told, another group was told, you need to do it this way, and we're told all kinds of frightening information about their addictive behaviors. Another group, a control group, was just given a pathway to good nutrition. Now they all improved in the short term, but only one group remained improved over the longer term, and that was the motivational interviewing group.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That came up with their own
Yeah. Oh,
solutions
yeah.
and committed to it and made their plan.
Yeah.
So this, we know that this is something that is really powerful when it comes to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So engagement is huge because it sets the stage for everything else to come. But we also want to talk about focus. And focus is where we allow the client or the recovery to sort of come up with their own best direction forward. And it might not be ours, but once they've given us that pathway, those kind of instructions, then we can move forward with that. And so we want to talk to you a little bit about focus.